achieved.
Welcome in, everybody. It is Studio Day, Heffrey, and we actually got a lot of Cowboys news today. We're coming up on the season here. First practice in Shells is on Friday for the Dallas Cowboys. So this is we're starting to get fast and furious Cowboys news, which is really exciting. I got a 3-pack for you today. We're going to talk about Dez Bryant. We're going to talk about free agent Logan Ryan, the defensive back who was with Tennessee last year. And I got another Randy Gregory update. So the news is coming fast and furious, and it's going to keep coming because at 11 o'clock today on 105.3 The Fan, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, Will McClay, all those guys are going to be live doing their sort of training camp opening press conference. So you'll have a whole bunch of audio coming out of that, a whole bunch of storylines. And Dak Prescott's going to talk at noon. So all sorts of great stuff to get into. Now, where I want to start today is the one that I think the most people care about because he is a guy that Cowboy fans have loved forever, myself included. So the big news that came out yesterday is the NFL has lifted their tryout ban. You weren't allowed to have guys come try out because of the COVID restrictions. Well, Dez Bryant seems excited about it. Tom Pelissero reporting that the tryout ban has been lifted, and an oh yeah from Dez Bryant. And I know a lot of Cowboy fans are going to say, let's go, let's sign Dez. And we can get into the merits of Dez Bryant as a Cowboy. Do you want that? Do they want that? How likely is it? But the good news is that he now can get that opportunity somewhere, that he can now go try out for somebody or go work out for a team. And for the Cowboys, I'll tell you the part that does make sense. What makes sense is at least working him out. That you have to do your due diligence. You know, you can talk about whether you think it's realistic, whether they think he's going to be back. Somebody else already has 88. What's he going to be, the fourth wide receiver? How does that work for Dez Bryant? Is that okay? Is he going to be cool with that? Blah, blah, blah. You can do all those different things. But step one of this is your pro scouts, your personnel guys, and Will McClay finding out, let's work him out. And do we think he's still an NFL player? Because that's the tricky part with Dez. A lot of people are going to look good when it's a workout video. And you're not allowed to accuse me of being a hater on this one, okay? You're not allowed. Because I'm the biggest Dez Bryant fan probably of all time. I love everything about him. I love his story. I love the way that he played the game. I love how unique he was and is to the wide receiver position. So I pull for Dez Bryant. But you're going to have questions. If he comes back to Dallas, he's the fourth wide receiver at best. And if that's the case, can you play special teams? Are you okay with the lack of opportunities and the lack of playing time? He's saying all the right things. He appears to have taken huge steps in his development just as a person. And again, I love Dez. So he'll get opportunities somewhere. He's going to get workouts, and hopefully we'll see him back in the NFL. I have my doubts that it'll be with the Cowboys because I think it makes more sense if you can find a team that's really hurting at wide receiver that could maybe use a veteran where he could be one of the top 3 guys. And that's what he'll have to prove in his workout is that he can still be that guy. But the world's a better place when Dez is throwing up the X, and he's got his opportunity now to go work out for teams. So that's awesome. Now, next thing. Logan Ryan or Randy Gregory next. I could go either way. Randy Gregory is a pretty quick update today, but I'm really fortunate to work with the great Brian Broaddus, former scout for the Cowboys, former personnel man, and the greatest drafter of all time. He's run one NFL draft, and that was in Philadelphia, and he got 4 Pro Bowlers out of that draft. So he's got tons of resources, tons of contacts, and the Randy Gregory update is Randy played in college at probably 235 pounds, give or take. Very thin for how tall he is and playing the defensive end position or the edge position. Randy is up to 255 pounds. That's 7 pounds heavier than he was when he was here in 2018, according to my buddy Brian Broaddus. He's excited. He's been working. And Broaddus also said that him and his camp believe if he stays patient, he should be reinstated here. So that's awesome news for the Cowboys. If they can get Randy Gregory into camp and ready for the season, you just got to wait for the NFL to get that handled, to get him reinstated, and then you rock and roll and you throw Randy Gregory in the mix. And now your mix involves DeMarcus Lawrence, Tyrone Crawford, Aldon Smith, Randy Gregory, and then you've got your battle for your 5th and 6th defensive end spots on the Cowboys. And that's good news for their pass rush. That would be great if they get Randy back. And the report from Brian is that they think that that can happen. Now, finally, let's talk about Logan Ryan. Multiple people have asked about Logan Ryan. Tachanka Traps. He says, Jeff, 18% are here, or whatever the percentage is, of the ones who have your YouTube notifications turned on. Still in the 18%ers. Looking to push it to 19, but I think we're about to top out here. Logan Ryan recently came out saying he wants to be paid and used as a safety, and maybe that's why he hasn't been signed. Do you see the Cowboys picking him up and using him that way? Okay, let's talk about what's happened with Logan Ryan first. What happened with Logan Ryan is in Tennessee last year, the vast majority of the snaps, and for most of his career, he's been a nickel corner, right? So he plays the slot. Last year, he played 855 snaps in the slot, 243 as an outside corner, 180 in the box as sort of a box safety. So vast majority of the time, he's been a slot corner. He's going to be 29 years old this year. What happened to Logan Ryan, based on what I'm hearing, is Logan Ryan, like Jadeveon Clowney, overshot his market at the beginning of free agency. What he was asking for didn't match up with what teams thought that he could still do. So now his agent is doing really good work. His agent emailed all 32 GMs with a spreadsheet of his stats and how that matches up with other great safeties in football, which isn't the position he played last year, but that's what he went with, and he matches up great. Passes defended, what do you have, like 18 passes defended, 4 picks. I think he had 4.5 sacks. I think that's the right number. But regardless, the counting numbers look great on Logan Ryan. So the question I had was, okay, outside of just the very basic stats, how did he actually play last year? And so I did a research project and I looked it up. Well, teams throwing at Logan Ryan completed at 69% of the time. 8.2 yards per attempt. Over 1,000 yards on him last year. Now, that's over 19 games. There's 16 regular season and their 3 postseason games in Tennessee. So, Logan Ryan, how'd he play? Okay. But he did get his hands on a lot of footballs. He was able to get some sacks, so he was making some plays. Does Logan Ryan in a vacuum make sense for the Cowboys? 100%. Because we're talking about where's Cheeto going to play. My guess right now would be corner, but where's he going to play? And Clinton Dix is a starting safety, and Xavier Woods, and those are both short-term guys, and who's going to win the corner jobs? So does Logan Ryan make sense? Sure he does. He's been a long-time starter in the league. He's been in the league for 7 years, and he offers the versatility that Mike McCarthy's been talking about to play corner, to play in the slot, to play safety. So he makes a lot of sense. But for a guy who started off with his market sky high, is he going to become a guy that's going to take a 1-year, $4 million deal? Or is somebody else going to offer him significantly more? Because signing him doesn't necessarily make him a step-in starter at any position here. He would have to compete with either Jordan Lewis, Anthony Brown, Cheeto, Clinton Dix. Like, you would have to come in and compete. So he makes a lot of sense in terms of being a chess piece and a really good depth piece. But financially, will he be getting more than that from somebody else? That is the question. All right, mailbagging it. Kevin McCamick, he says, hey, Jeff, Tina here with a question for you. That's the guys who have the notifications turned on, youtube.com/Jeff Kavanaugh. It's in the Tinas. I noticed when speaking on our linebackers, you have a certain view of Van Der Esch, and you seem to view Jalen as a good but never great player. Can you explain why you have this view on these players? I feel like they both have aspects where they are great and together make a fantastic, potentially all-pro tandem. I do think that Jalen and Van Der Esch, when they're playing their best, can match up well as a tandem. I think the NFL is moving in a direction where a lot of linebackers that you're seeing come into the league are hyper athletic and smaller because coverage has become so important. And that's the part of Jalen Smith's game that I don't think he can ever be great at, because I think he's still limited in terms of reactionary change of direction, like in the open field against a running back and being asked to cover a tight end or a running back. I think Leighton Van Der Esch physically is better geared to be able to do that. You look at how they both played in 2018 when they both played really, really well. But Van Der Esch is the one who was just never missing tackles and was able to be a better player in coverage. So they're going to be different players. Jalen Smith at Notre Dame, before he got hurt, he was a better prospect than Van Der Esch. He could have been absolutely incredible. And where he is now for Jalen is awesome. He didn't only make it back from a devastating injury that I thought that he would never play. He's made it back to be a quality starting linebacker. And if he can get back to 2018 form, and some of that has to do with the guys around him and how the defensive line plays, then that's great for the team. But yes, I think that Vander Esch physically, because he has two good legs, with all due respect, he's able to, in the open field, change direction quicker, to avoid oncoming blocks. Jalen's kind of got to be a fast, powerful, straight-ahead player. And he makes some great plays when he's playing straight ahead and just playing sideline to sideline and downhill. And that's why they'll probably use Leighton more as a coverage guy and Jalen more as a play-forward pass rush guy. Slippin' Jimmy says, assuming that the NFL will continue and everybody's healthy, who is Jalen Ramsey going to cover on game day? Rams week 1. If he travels, because sometimes Jalen Ramsey plays left corner, and if he plays left corner, I would think he would a lot of the times be on, well, it wouldn't matter, whoever lines up there, but you'd get a decent amount of gallop out there. But if he's going to travel, he'd cover Amari Cooper, no doubt. Amari Cooper's the number 1 receiver on this team, until proven otherwise, and I think CeeDee Lamb could do that at some point, probably not this year, but Amari Cooper's a top 10 receiver in the game. If Ramsey's going to shadow, he's going with Amari Cooper. Ronce Rayhan, favorite utensil is my hand. Things taste better when you get to lick your fingers after. Hey, Jeff, what aspects of Dak's game need to improve for him to be considered undisputedly elite? The numbers already put him kind of in that ballpark, so I would say giving his receivers run after catch opportunities with better ball placement on crossing routes, and better anticipation in terms of being able to rip to a, thank you, Stomp. Yeah, see, she likes this, to a second and third read and get the ball out. He's still best on his first read, and he can read a defense, but if you want to be elite, then it would be bang, 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 read, anticipate, and ball placement in terms of giving guys an opportunity to run after the catch. Ryan Warren, sup, Jeff? I was just wondering for next year's offseason and draft, what the primary needs for the Cowboys are going to be besides the Dak situation. Safety. Both of your starters right now are on one-year deals, Xavier Woods and Clinton Dix. Depending on what happens, well, defensive end will be a need, defensive tackle. They're going to have a situation where you've got a lot of routes that you can go, but where you're not in desperate straits to try to figure things out, but they could still use help on the defensive line for sure. Their safety is going to be the biggest need because people are just going to be out of contract. Corner, depending on the development of your young guys this year, could still be a need. Linebacker, you're hoping not because you have Vander Esch and Jalen. Offensive line, you're hoping not because you got the bodies to compete and fill all those spots in. Running back, no. Maybe quarterback. I looked at Todd McShay's mock draft. The third quarterback came off the board at 14. So if the Cowboys end up in a spot where they can't sign Dak and they could get a tag and trade worked out, you could find a way to get up to 14, right? That'd get you Trey Lance. Crazy Chris, he heard my tease in the last video. He said, is it Logan Ryan from the Pats in Tennessee? Yep, that's who I was talking about. Clarence Yee, isn't Amari Cooper vegan? I wonder how much that affected his foot injury last year, which he claims healed up and wasn't a factor down the stretch. I think he's something, Cooper has some sort of healthy diet. But, yeah, it was Scott Kasmer who's the first one to bring to my attention, Football Outsiders, that the history of NFL players who do go vegan is that they start getting banged up. And I'm not making any accusations about a man's diet. I'm just saying that he brought up an interesting point of a lot of guys that have done that and have then kind of been injury-prone guys. I bring it. 18%er. I enjoy the content, Jeff. I'm buying the Cowboys improve in close games. Of course they will. They're not going to go 0-for in close games again. They were 8-2 2 years ago. I'm saying 12-4. Question for today is about the punting situation. Chris Jones needs competition. I agree. I don't know why the Cowboys wouldn't bring in competition for Chris Jones. They're just going to tell us that Greg Zuerlein was hurt last year, Chris Jones was hurt last year, and so your special teams are going to be great. That's fine if that's your plan and that you believe that. But why wouldn't you bring in other guys? And if somebody's better, put them in. Ryan Suckup is out there posting videos of his 60-yarders he's kicking, trying to get a tryout with somebody. It's tryout time, baby. Bring people in. And maybe they will. You just started being able to have tryouts as of today. Banda Jose says, I know you play Warzone. What is your take on how Call of Duty 2020 or Black Ops Cold War is being revealed / teased? I don't know. Warzone's supposed to continue a different setting. Definitely not like every year. Modern Warfare 2019 was my favorite since Black Ops 2. I don't know, man. I like the current Warzone, but the last time they had the Battle Royale, and it was called, I believe, Blackout, I did not like it at all. You had to like find every attachment for your gun, and it was a real beating. Garrett, Jeff, what barbecue's better, a rub or a sauce? I'm a dry rub man. Hit some Carnivore Red on your chicken wings, and then hit it with the Clucker Dust. Then slap that in the fridge overnight. The next day, once it's all soaked up in those bad boys, 275 degrees on the big green egg, 90 minutes. Go ahead and let that internal temp get up to 190, 195. You know, you'd think it would be dry. No. On the party wings, on the little wings, delicious. And Jay Burnett just wanted to stop by and fire a shot. I'm just here to represent the forgotten 82%. Those of you who don't have notifications turned on the YouTube channel. All right, get ready. Get ready. It is the open of training camp today. Tryouts are allowed for NFL teams. Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, Will McClay, Dak, they're all going to talk today. I'll see you guys on 105.3 The Fan, 105.3thefan.com. Let's boogie. How do I say the end? I love you. Bye.